I'm Sean Chandler, and this is my sister,
Tisha Messing.
We just finished episode 8 of Star Trek Discovery, the penultimate of the fall season of the show. What was your just kind of initial quick 2-sentence review?
It was okay. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. I have some questions that we can get into later.
And that's kind of where I would fall. I think I enjoyed it a little bit more. I didn't have as many kind of big fundamental issues as I think you're going to have with it. But for me, it wasn't like as fun as last week where I was like, yeah, I'm really digging this. But I also wasn't annoyed by it. It was for me, it would feel like a filler episode as opposed to frustrated with the earlier episodes. This one to me was just kind of like, okay, the Klingons didn't bother me as much. And the stories.
Turtle Klingons.
True. But okay, it was an
All
okay.
I think when I see them is turtle Klingons. That should be at King Henry VIII court.
Okay. But before we dive into our full thoughts on all this, be sure to put your thoughts down below in the comment section on the episode. Any other thoughts, questions, anything else you want to throw down there. Also, just so you know, 2 days from now, we're going to do our top 5 favorite episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation. So if you haven't subscribed, click that subscribe button or just be sure to check for that. Dropping Tuesday morning, talking about Star Trek The Next Generation. I think we're both going to have like 10 runners up. So it's going to be a nice, lively discussion. So head on over to that video. Tell us your favorites over there. And just so you know, back last Tuesday, we did our favorite episodes of Star Trek, the original series. So there you go. That's all of our mumbo jumbo stuff. Let's dive in, start talking about this episode. So our main plot line of it, we start off with some actual war going on. So that's nice.
Yeah, got fight.
So we send some people to a planet because there's some stuff there to where we can actually crack the code of the cloaking devices.
Yeah, the entire planet is a giant sonar. Or it could be.
And so we're going to use this we're going to discover a new creature and life form so we can discover how to defeat the Klingons in this war. And then our B storyline is our admiral is on a ship with a very disgruntled Klingon lady that does not want to be there any longer. And so there's some back and forth in that. So those are our two, what we're going to do. We're going to talk about story A on the planet. We're going to talk story B with the Klingons. And then we're going to get into kind of the theories and speculation about mirror universe, Ash as a Klingon towards the end of this. So our main plot line, you had some issues with it.
So they start off saying we're on this planet, its entire ecosystem is connected by some kind of sonar thing. It's constantly playing this note. They're like, and there's this big giant sky beam. That's a literal sky beam. It's not just a light. It's like a giant crystalline entity, which actually had me wondering for a second if they were going to go with that, but they didn't. And they're like, our plan is we're going to go in and we are going to fundamentally alter the way this planet works.
Like Starfleet,
by changing its harmonics. I'm like, so Starfleet is fine with potentially destroying this entire planet, an entire planet's ecosystem, because it might give them the capability to have sonar to find out where the Klingon ships are. And I had a real problem with that. It was an interesting concept, but it's like, we're going to just boom right into... we're not going to try experimenting on a small scale, like take a plant, one of the trees or something, or a small plant, and use it in an enclosed environment. No, we're just going to change the entire planet. And we've seen in other episodes where they do something where they change harmonics or change small things, and that just destroys the creature. So it kind of came off as Starfleet's like, kill an entire planet, no problem.
Which, of course, ties into that's the way this Federation has functioned thus far.
Very true.
In Discovery, since our first story arc is space water bear thing.
Yes.
You know, and they don't seem concerned about his feelings at all.
So and it felt like the Space Spore episode from the original series.
That is
we're
true.
We're all getting along. We're good. We're good, but I'm totally lying to you.
Which I don't hold that as a negative. I would take that as more a positive side to it. You start to have a plot that feels like Star Trek.
Yes, it just, when I saw it, I immediately thought of the original series episode, which then makes it feel like they aren't coming up with their own storyline, which is just an odd place.
This early on, yeah.
Yeah, this early on. It's like the ubiquitous, the holodeck is malfunctioning episodes in Next Gen that you just have over and over again.
So, walking through that, we have Michael and Ash. Mm-hmm. Oh, actually, let's just talk about the people he decided to send on this away team mission.
Yeah.
So of all the people you can send, let's send the scaredy cat, the mutineer, and the guy that's a POW. There was a POW 2 weeks ago.
Who's got PTSD like crazy.
So of all the people to send, I would suggest this is probably not the best mix.
No, especially since 2 of them are known to have problems interacting, and the other 2 have started dating, which as a general rule is something that, like, in other Starfleet episodes they've talked about, they don't want, in other Star Trek episodes, they don't send 2 people who are dating on an away mission or on a mission by themselves because there's a conflict of interest there. So,
that's stuff that, what are they, in jobs and government and military, they don't want you to do that?
Yeah.
That's my understanding.
Yes.
Right, and then you're just watching this like, I just send the 2 people who are going to go make out on their camping trip.
Yeah.
And they do.
Yeah. And they also he proposes, we shouldn't really do this because I'm actually good if we keep this war going.
Yeah.
That was literally one of his suggestions. He's like, or we could not do our mission and let the war keep going.
Right. Starfleet.
Starfleet's fine with them. Actually, they're not. It's just Captain Lorca.
That's true.
Are
you jumping ahead, or are we still on the planet?
No. We had a discussion last night. Lorca is actually a type of Roman armor.
Okay.
Used for a very short period of time.
That was a little rabbit trail in
That
there?
was a little rabbit trail. Just had to get that in there. I thought that was interesting.
But so, to the fact that one of the criticisms I've had against this show was that it's a show called Discovery, that we're not discovering
anything.
And it's a show that we're not discovering things because it's a wartime, but we're not seeing the war. So for me,
we gotta see both.
We saw the war, and we discovered a new planet, and we discovered new life forms.
And we saw a war that had stakes. So it wasn't just Discovery always coming in and saving the day, which is how they've referred to it. It's Discovery coming in and trying to and failing.
Yeah.
Which is good because war is not always winning. So that was a cool thing to see.
So that's for me kind
sad.
of a little bit of a downer story.
Yeah, downer.
But so we're going to start things off, or have it as a basis for kind of the episode. That for me, I was like, right off the bat, I was like, all right, this is, we're actually seeing what the show is about, not like we're telling stories in this context of war and context of a Discovery vessel, but we're not discovering, we're not seeing war. So seeing those 2 things worked for me. So Saru, we see normal side to him, we get a little bit more deeper into him, and then we see spored out version of him, or not spored out, but I don't know, what we call these ones?
Pavoed
out?
Pavo? Yeah, I don't know. They're weird.
So whatever we got out of them, he did his Saru meld with them, came out wanting to stay with them and be buddies with them.
Yeah.
So you have anything on that one?
I struggle with his character because I do not understand how, as a race, he functions in Starfleet with the way they've defined him. He every now and then there's hints of something that's really interesting with his character, and then you go back to they keep showing that thing in my race was created for one purpose to sense death.
In case you forgot.
That's why I'm here, and it feels frustrating to constantly be brought up. So I can't quite decide what I think about him. He just right now is a frustrating character for me.
Yeah, I don't feel like they've figured out how to write him yet.
Yeah, that's probably the problem. They don't know how to write him yet.
And so we've seen, I think, a lot of traction with almost everyone else. Maybe everyone else except him, I've been like, okay. And Saru, I feel like they haven't quite found that traction yet. And this episode was supposed to give us more with him. But the inherent nature of, they're just on a planet talking about stuff. It's not an action-based, it's very much thought-based. You learn about him, they talk about stuff, and you learn about his views, Ash's views on the war. We're talking about a bunch of things, but it's campfire
get along, thing. We're gonna...
Yeah, talky as opposed to doey. And so you don't get a bunch of stuff with him. Any other thoughts on that plot line?
It had potential, but it just was not quite where it could have been, and it just really annoyed me when they were like, we're gonna just fundamentally change how this works, how this planet works. So that
I've just accepted that stuff on this show.
I should, but I can't, and it keeps bothering me.
Okay,
And
so let's move on to our Klingon. Our Klingon
Yeah.
plotline. Of the Klingon plotlines we've had thus far, this one was the one I was most invested in.
Yes.
So I
This
like
one
our
was the-
Admiral lady, and then
Yes.
there actual stuff happened.
Yes, the female Klingon is just weird, and they've just so over prostheticized the actors that it's very hard to understand them and get much feel for who they are.
Yeah.
So that keeps coming in the way of my connecting with the characters, and so I'm very confused by them overall and don't like them.
Yeah, it's kind of everything is in which doesn't. It's not like we don't hear that and hear different dynamics to it. We just have the words that are said, and it's all said the same. Mm-hmm. And then the way the words are on the screen is for the honor of the Klingons. It's all feels one note, intense.
Yes.
They don't feel like
It's an odd choice in font that they put the speech in, which makes it even. It doesn't always have the right color change so that you can read it easily, which makes it more harder to follow along.
And so when you have the whole subplots that are that, it's can be grating. So having our Admiral lady, and you see her intense side where she kind of understands Klingon.
Yeah.
I have to fight back to get respect.
Yeah, she did great in those scenes, and really still has me wondering exactly where the female Klingons it lies in all of this, because she goes back and forth between being like, I totally hate the guy in charge, to I'm here to serve you.
Yeah.
And I can't tell when of that time is she lying. So
Yeah, we can't see the nuance.
Yeah.
We just see at face value.
plastic face.
She's plastic face value, says a thing, and that's it. That's what we just have the words, and we go, I can't see nuance. I can't see emotion. I just see Klingon intensity and this weird font and plastic face. Mm-hmm. And so that's where a lot of that stuff's difficult to resonate with too much.
Yeah.
Well, because stuff happened, because you have a person that you start to get a little bit more of like, okay, she's at, I want to break free. Like, I hate what this is. And she's voicing what we're saying. Which is, they're not honorable. This is not
this
the Klingon
is not how
way.
it should be acting. This is not what we should be seeing with them.
And so all that, you go, okay, tracking with you. That's good. Still a little bit limited.
Yeah, and so the whole time she was talking with the Admiral, I wasn't sure if that was her talking with the Admiral, trying to gain her trust to get the Admiral to say something, or if that was so that she could then convey it, or was she really true, because it's just so hard to tell with all the plastic. So it's a limitation of how they've done the makeup. Mm-hmm. It's poor choice on their part.
And with everything being in Klingon and when you Star Trek Next Generation, when you saw Klingon stuff, they'd very frequently go to English. And so then you have, I'm hearing English in the way people talk, and you can hear nuance, you can hear the performance in it.
Well, their mouth prosthesis was not so extensive, so they had more capability of using their facial expressions so that you could, and tone of voice.
No.
So when you don't have as much prosthesis, it enables you to have more acting. So, like, their lower half of their face there's no prosthesis there. And whereas with this, it's just all everywhere in Turtle Klingons.
So I wrote story C down. Stamets gets cranky again. It didn't turn into a storyline, but it's a plot point that came in there that something's going on.
Something's going on, and you see hints of it in the upcoming episode that's gonna follow through in the next episode.
So nothing really to say there. Just observations.
Just another one where they ended it oddly, where we got to the final scene and we're like, oh, it's commercial break. Or is it the end of the episode? So it...
Yeah. Well, we haven't really talked... I think we've talked about this. We haven't said it on camera. It's so funny the way that these are cut on CBS All Access. Because when you would watch Star Trek The Next Generation, when a commercial break would come, it'd go... And then
all the actors would freeze for like 2 seconds.
And it would fade to the commercial. And then on this show, it doesn't do that. It's just kind of... And the commercial's going out of the blue.
And sometimes the commercials that they pick almost seem like they could fit with the show. So at first you're like, oh, have they just completely changed scenes? And they're like, oh, no, commercial.
And then that happens at the end of the episode. So this episode, we get to the end of it, and you go, oh, end of the episode, and then commercial break hits, and you go, oh, this...
Was a commercial break?
Is this a commercial break? Is it coming back? And I was like, I think it's going to come back for the preview for next week. And
that's what happened.
But it's just funny that they made a show that doesn't... I think there's one time that there was a proper commercial break where it did some sort of like transition fade out.
Yeah,
one time in all these episodes. All right, so anything we missed in kind of talking about the episode, things you kind of liked or didn't like? We're pretty thorough.
Yeah, pretty thorough.
So all in all, you pretty similar to your previous feelings on previous episodes, would you say?
I think it's more depressing for me because last week I had such a high of, hey, it was really enjoyable. Of course, then I looked in the comments from last week and everyone pointed out all the things that because I was actually going, hey, I'm actually enjoying the show, I didn't catch and think about. And then I was suddenly like, oh, man, it wasn't as good as I was thinking it was. Like, so, but this time there wasn't the enjoyment factor so much so that I could automatically put it out of my head. And so I noticed all of the things I didn't notice as much last week. So it's more frustrating because I saw the potential last week that's not there this week.
And for me, I wasn't as frustrated some of the stuff that you were, but it's just not as exciting as last week. Just the inherent nature of the story wasn't as action based and comedy based, so it doesn't have as much. It's not like pouring as much sugar and bacon with butter as last week had a lot of stuff that would make you just easier to digest. But I didn't. There was not anything that really drove me nuts either. All right, so let's move on to our prediction stuff, theory stuff that people have. All the ones out there. Anything in this one that was mirror? Anything pluses or minuses? I didn't see anything.
Not particularly.
Any Sector 31?
The willingness to totally destroy a planet's ecosystem could be Section 31. That goes right in with that.
And then likewise, we've got a guy that's like, let's keep the war going.
Yeah.
So you got some...
There was hints of it,
but they're not going too far.
They're not going too far. Early on in the episode, I was like, oh yeah, he's totally going to be a Klingon. And then later...
Whoa, don't jump ahead. That's our third one. Unless you want to start on that one?
I was going to start on that one.
Let's start on that one.
Okay, let's start on that one.
Ash is a Klingon, our third...
So early on in the episode, at the point where he was like, yeah, let's totally not complete our mission and, let's keep the war going and we could just run away. I was going, oh yeah, he's going to be a Klingon. And then later on when we just had that whole anger scene between him and Saru, I was like, maybe not.
But then we find out that's a deflection too.
Yeah, so I don't know.
They're doing some trolling.
They're definitely trolling. It's weird.
Which I can appreciate that they've got that vibe for what people are seeing and things. So I can appreciate some of that.
Yes. So, are you on Ash's Klingon?
Last week makes that pretty tough.
It really does.
So, alrighty. Any final thoughts? Anything we missed?
I'm curious to see what the fall finale will be like.
Yes, looks like.
What do you guys think? What's going to happen in the fall finale? Are they going to destroy the ship of the dead?
We will see. That's there's setting up. It's
big battle.
Yeah,
explosions. We're going to use our blower budget on this episode.
Yes,
or that would have been what they would have said in the 90s.
Yes, and what they did with the first couple episodes with this show of like, we're going to change direction, we got a new ship, and now we're going to find out what the show's really like. They've done so much of that stuff. Like, is this finale going to do that again? Or is it just going to be like, we're going to have the big battle that we've been building up towards? It'll be interesting to see where things kind of fall.
It will be very interesting to see.
All right, real quick before we end, like we said, tell us your thoughts on the episode down below. One more thing I'm going to throw out there. I'd like to do a video collaboration with someone that's a Star Trek fan, going back, loves Next Generation, loves Star Trek, the original series, the movies, all that fun stuff, and also loves Star Trek Discovery and feel it's true to Trek. I'd love to do a collaboration with someone. If you know of someone that's got, I don't know, over 1,500, over 2,000 subs that's kind of doing some reviews of it. I'd love to kind of do a collaboration after the mid-break finale to kind of have a back and forth, two different perspectives. I don't, when I say want someone so many subscribers, it's just because I have to limit it somehow because there's a ton of people that you might propose. So if you know of someone that's doing some reviews that's kind of in that category, please tell me down below in the comment section because I'd like to get a nice little...
Yeah, all the people who I've seen commenting who are longtime fans are like, I just turn off my Canon brain and that's the way I can enjoy it.
So I'm hoping that someone can recommend someone that's just true canon fan and still loves this and thinks it's true to Trek, and because that's the conversation I want to have. I want to have that back and forth with someone. That'd be a fun video. I'm aware, and that's why I want to have to find that person if they are out there. With all that said, if you're new to my channel, please consider clicking that subscribe button. I do movie reviews, TV reviews, like what you're watching right now, some ranking videos. But the key thing is I don't want to just talk about movies, TV, and Star Trek. I want to talk about movies, TV, and Star Trek with you. So join me in the comment section. Let's have a lively, respectful conversation. And as always, thank you so much for watching.